So I just got off work and I was looking to make a video just because I hadn't uploaded in a bit. I think it's been a week and a couple of days. But I was just waiting to see some news and see what they had on there. And I know I could have just talked about some of the stuff going on with the current UFC fight night going on, like, all these fight cancellations. But then I see 3 title fights being made. First one I want to talk about, it's Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makchachev. 2, Raquel Pennington versus Mayre Beuno Silva for the vacant bantamweight title, which finally that title is getting fought for. And then rumored, it's still in the works, but Alexander Volkanovski defending his featherweight title against Ilia Topuria at UFC 298 for them, which would be in February, which I'm going to start with that fight just because I have a lot to say. I'm happy that it isn't happening in January because that would have been way too soon, but February isn't much better. That's like 1 month more, which, yeah, it's better, but, like, come on, man, we meant longer. Like, come on, man, we could wait for that. And I don't know, it hasn't really been announced. The fight hasn't been announced yet, so it's still just rumored, but it's been rumored by some, fairly credible. Ariel Helwani trying to say Ngannou versus Fury did like 10 million when it did like below 70K. So I don't know. Helwani is not a reliable source. The GOAT, as he like to call himself of it, which he isn't anymore. But yeah, this fight's being rumored, but it's not just by him, but it's been rumored by multiple people. And I don't know, it's more time and Volkanovski, but that's like, he's going to have to rush back into training. He's getting older. He's like 35 now, probably going to turn 36 soon. Ilia's young. He's getting better. He's improving even more. He isn't coming off taking a lot of damage in a fight. He just came off a dominating and brutal victory over Josh Emmett. Not even coming off, well, that's the most recent, but that's like a bit ago now. So he's had time. He's getting better. Volkanovski got head kick KO'd on short notice against freaking Islam. He's not going to end well. Now, do I think Volkanovski can win? Yeah, I think if anyone can pull off this victory, it would be Volkanovski, but I don't know. No one really defends the title or wins the title in these lower weight classes beyond like 35. 35 is really old. That'd be record-breaking for Volkanovski to do, and, he wants those records. He wants that legacy. He wants that. But I feel like that's going to do him in. I think that's going to get him KO'd, so right now, don't hold me to this because I might change my opinion. I think if this fight does happen, Topuria might get a second-round TKO over Volkanovski. Or he might drop him in the second round, or might stun him, take him down, and get a submission, because he is a dangerous submission expert. He's a black belt. He submitted Bryce Mitchell. Bryce Mitchell, okay, I know he didn't look good against Dan Ige, but he beat a top 15 guy coming off of getting submitted. But freaking Josh Emmett dominated Bryce Mitchell and submitted him. But that's kind of what I think for that fight. Next up, we're just going to kind of breeze through this one because I don't really have much to say. Raquel Pennington versus Mayre Beuno Silva. I don't know. It's just like whoever wins this is the majority, whether or not I specifically think that I would view them as a champion or not, the vast majority of people in the back of their head is going to have Amanda Nunes, because Amanda Nunes is the female GOAT in MMA. Just in general, there's very little argument to that. She's beat Valentina. She beat Chris Cyborg. I think Chris Cyborg would be like second because, I don't know, Valentina's kind of overrated. But Amanda Nunes is the top person. She retired defending her title. And I don't know, it just wouldn't, it's not gonna feel the same. It's not like when Juliana Pena submitted Amanda Nunes. I know Amanda Nunes then beat her, but like, you gotta imagine the crazy thing where it's like, oh yeah, Juliana Pena is the champion. There's no debate to that. But now it's gonna be like, well, there's a lot of debate to that, because like, I don't think either of them, maybe Mayre Beuno Silva might, maybe. I don't think she fought Amanda Nunes. I'm pretty sure she didn't. She's like 10-2. I think Amanda Nunes would have beat Mayre Beuno Silva. But in my opinion, I think Mayre Beuno Silva is going to get the victory. I think she's going to get a unanimous decision. Definitely not going to be a finish. I don't see either of them finishing. But like, she beat Holly Holm, which is a good win. I'll give her that. That's a pretty good win. She's probably hungrier for getting that. They're both going to be wanting the title, but I don't know. There's not really much I can say about this right now, but I guess just she's going to win that. But now finally on to what people really care about. Or, obviously people care about these fights, but Islam Makchachev versus Charles Oliveira 2. Just ignoring I think my previous video I was talking about the interim title thing. And like that, but I mean, I get it. And like Islam probably wants to cement himself as probably the best lightweight with a win before he goes up to welterweight. Or I don't know, he may not go up to welterweight. He might do what Khabib did and never go up a weight class or that. I think Khabib might have had a couple welterweight bouts before entering the UFC, but I don't really care because they were against janitors. But I love Charles. Charles is probably in my top 3 current favorite active fighters. He's so entertaining. He's so fun. I love his story and all that stuff. And I want him to win. But I also have to think of this with a bit of reason. And I think Islam is improving scarily. Like, he beat Charles really good. And yes, a part of me thinks, like, yes, Charles has a chance to win. People are like, oh yeah, Islam by domination, by however he wants. No, I think if Islam's going to win, it is probably going to be by TKO or KO. Or he's going to basically do what he did in the first fight and, like, basically KO him and then submit him. But I think I see a higher chance because ground game will always be competitive. It's a very competitive thing against Charles, against Islam. Both of them are very good. And that's just something that happens with it. That's just a part of the fighting. But striking, Islam is just good at not getting hit. And I know he lost by KO, but that was so long ago. I think he has a stat for like highest striking defense. I don't remember, but he has a really good striking defense. And he just got a head kick KO against Volkanovski. Yes, I know it was on a week's notice, but still, it still stands of Islam is improving crazy. Now, how does Charles win in this? I think if Charles is going to win, he has to continue to be aggressive with that. But that's also a double-edged sword because Islam can counter him and just KO and flatline him. Charles has been knocked out before. He's had all this happen. But I think he still needs to do it. It's just a risk. He can't be tentative. He can't be soft that. He was super aggressive in the first fight, but like weirdly with it. But I still think just Islam's going to get the win. I think a 3rd round TKO is probably what's going to happen. But yeah, that's kind of it for that. I just saw these 3 title fights get announced, and I'm like, well, that's going to be a good start to 2024. Got 2 confirmed fights. I believe the Mayre Beuno Silva versus Raquel Pennington is the co-main event for 297, I believe, which will be start of the year. So underneath the Charles or Islam versus Charles card, which, 2 good, decent title fights. Well, obviously Charles versus Islam is a really good title fight, but co-main wise, not bad. I don't think that's bad. There's not really bad to do with that. I'm easily pleased for like title fight wise. I don't think there's really bad ones, and getting multiple is good just in general. But yeah, you just add more some decent fights, maybe some like top 5 fights in there, and then you'll be good for that. Add some I believe it's going to be in Canada, so give some Canadian prospects in there. Get I believe Mike Malott versus Neil Magny's going on there, and I'm excited for that. That one's interesting. I think this will show, because Neil Magny, he's like, he wins 1, loses 1, wins 1, loses 1, wins 1, loses 1, maybe loses 2. But he's still that threshold. If you can't beat Neil Magny, you're not going to be in the top 15. That's just kind of how it is. Like, Philip Rowe isn't going to be in top 15. All that stuff of that. And it also depends on how you do against him. Because if, like, Shavkat full-on submits him, like, dominates him, 2nd round submission. So Mike Malott has I believe he's got a 100% finish rate for wins. So I think he needs to go in there, and he's got to put on a statement. And I think with a hometown advantage, that'd be good. But, just give a bunch of shine to some Canadian prospects. Get some decent fights in there. And give us a good card for Canada. Come on. The last one wasn't, like, terrible in terms of performances. But, like, you put Amanda Nunes in that fight. Was criminal. Charles Oliveira versus Beneil Dariush was a better main event, more intriguing than Amanda Nunes. So that's really all I think of that. I'm excited for these fights. There's a lot of intrigue to it. Even the women's title fight, I'm still interested because either one of them can win. It's kind of a coin flip in my opinion. But yeah, that's it. Bye.